Yeah, hockey season's over in Pittsburgh, and it's over too soon. And there aren't good things to say about that. There just aren't. But I gotta tell you, there was one light shining through these past few weeks beyond what anyone could have or should have reasonably expected. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Penguins 5, Capitals 2, meaningless finale last night at PPG Paints Arena. Not at all an atmosphere to match, though. Sellout crowd, 18,348. Sid pumps a goal. Alexander Ovechkin pumps a goal. The crowd gives Ovechkin a rousing standing ovation. He stands at center ice, waving to everybody and applauding back. And yeah, there was a lot going on. And as well as the team overall finished in the past month and change, there's still one thing, one slice of that I found most encouraging. And that, plain and simple, was the performance, the instant performance of Ville Koivunen. Let me tell you something. It's been a while since anyone popped up around here and said, I am top 6 material. I'm going to play in your top 6. And oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to get me out of that top 6 for a long, long time. But that's what Koivunen's done. He's done it at age 22. He's done it in just a handful of games. And he's done it without scoring a single goal. Yes, he almost had not one but 2 last night. One of them came on a really slick 2-on-1 feed from Sidney Crosby. He banged it off the left pipe. Another one, well, he acknowledged to me later, he knew exactly what he was doing when he shoved it in with his hand. And even though initially it was looking like it was his first goal, guys coming over congratulating him, and he skates over to the bench and he's looking all guilty and his teammates are making fun of him. They continued making fun of him after the game. In that regard, it was the worst ever fist bump line because all he's doing is looking over his shoulder trying to find the ref and see what the ref is thinking. But he's been good. He's been really good. And he's been good beyond the production that he's had. Now, in this game last night, he finished with 2 assists, leaving him with 7 of those in the 8 games that he played. But honestly, even that's not it. All you got to do is watch him. Watch how comfortable he looks in every situation. Watch how he doesn't defer to his much more renowned line mates, one of them in particular. Watch how he doesn't just make a pass. He'll look off twice before he executes it. He keeps everybody guessing, meaning the opponent's side. Watch how he skates so lightly that he appears at times to just be kind of floating above the rink. I'm not being dramatic here. I'm talking about the way he spins, in particular in the right circle. He and I had a good talk after this game. I'm going to play it for you here. And I hope you'll appreciate that as we're speaking, he's occasionally getting ribbed by either Joona Koppanen or Vasily Ponomarev sitting over to his right.
Here, and how much it meant to you?
It meant a lot. It was really fun, and especially when I got to play a lot of minutes and use my strengths here. It was a lot of fun.
Now there's minutes, and then there's quality minutes, and then there's minutes. Okay, I'm pointing to the stall next to you here.
Yeah.
How much does that mean? I mean, you know what's funny is you didn't look starstruck out there. I've seen guys play with Sid over the years that are just, woo, you know?
Yeah, I was. Of course, when I saw first time playing with him, it's like, wow, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I just think like, let's try to use my own strengths, and they get me here, so let's try to play with those, and I think it's working really well.
Now, are these guys getting on you to shoot a little bit? Ponomarev, is he saying something to you about shooting?
Yeah, they said a lot of shoots. They tried to find me on the last game, so yeah, and they found me, so just...
They kept finding you. You weren't shooting, you kept passing.
My fault when I didn't score there.
When you're in the right circle, especially on the power play, that's what I wanted to ask you about. You seem so comfortable there. Does that matter where you are on the power play, or is that an area that you've always liked?
I think I play a lot of flanks, right or left, both sides, so I think I'm just comfortable when I play there. And I like to play on flanks, so yeah, I do just feel pretty good there.
The last thing I have for you here, you had a chance to be in the city very much or anything to the fans, but how you were received here. People really liked having young guys here.
Yeah,
Did you get that sense?
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course, his fans was great here, and yeah, I received a lot of helped me a lot when fans also giving me positive energy there and try to play you there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Perfect, thanks, man.
Now, I also asked Mike Sullivan about Koivunen.
Michael, when you watch Koivunen, in particular on the power play, but really all the time, do you see a poise that almost belies the fact that he spent most of the year in the minors? You know what I'm saying? You see playmakers do that when they come to the NHL, and there's more guys that are aware, you know what I'm saying, of what they can do.
Well, the one thing that is evident to us is he has a real high hockey IQ, and he has a quiet confidence about him. He has a maturity to his game, especially his offensive game, and we've seen that, you know, from the very first shift that he played. You know, he wasn't afraid. He's not afraid of the moment, and when you play in the top six, when you play with Sid or Gino and some of the star power like that, that can be very intimidating for a young player. And one of the things that we observed was that it didn't faze him. And there's been a few other guys that have come through here that were in similar circumstances that excelled, and so that's a great sign. He's a great kid. He loves hockey. He's got really good offensive instincts. He's got a real high hockey IQ, and he has some swagger to him. He plays with moxie, and that's what you need to play in this league.
Yeah, tell me what more anyone could have wanted out of this final stretch here. Once you knew the Penguins weren't going to make the playoffs, than to have someone like this just... Look, he wasn't a surprise. Everyone knew he was doing well in the AHL, but you never, ever, ever can assume. This is a real, live, top six winger who came in the Jake Gensel trade. He is not in need of further seasoning, even though he's going to go back to Wilkes-Barre Scranton and attempt to get that franchise Calder Cup championship. Come next NHL season, he's on the NHL roster. That's a really big deal. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Today's J1Q comes from Michael, who says, DK, in light of Chris Latang's surgery and wishing him all the best, is he a Hall of Famer? It's not so much whether or not he deserves it. I feel like he does, but will he be elected? On the plus side, Hockey Reference comps him to Shea Weber, who was just elected. Both are very different players, both strong on offense and defense, never won the Norris Trophy. On the downside, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Marc-Andre Fleury. Would that make it less likely for people to vote for him? I don't think a lot about Latang's Hall candidacy. And the reason for that is I associate one particular thing that you mentioned in there most with that when it comes to defensemen, and that is you either have to win a Norris Trophy or you have to be someone who's a regular finalist for it. And Latang's been neither. Latang's, whether this is fair or not in coming up with an assessment of his overall career, he's been around through a time where Nicholas Lidstrom was owning that trophy. Drew Doughty became that guy in Los Angeles. Erik Karlsson, don't forget, won a couple of those in there. It's been a tough field. Now, also within that, and you point this out when you're talking about Weber, you say, they were both offensively and defensively sound. Well, Latang has never put up the massive offensive numbers that'll get you instant recognition on the part of the voters for the Norris. One of the first things you do, and I've been a voter for a long time, is, all right, here are the points. Here's who got all the points. From there, you can start getting into a lot of the more intricate stuff. Latang hasn't been that guy. And at the same time, I don't know that he's ever been seen by anybody as some sort of defensively superior player. You mentioned the surgery at the beginning, and I'm not sure if that's related to whether or not he should be gaining Hall consideration because of everything that he's gone through. You also bring up whether or not Sid, Gino, and Flower going in would make it for more or less likely for people to vote for him. And that goes back to a conversation that people around here have had forever related to the Steelers, specifically the Steelers of the 1970s. Do you develop something that's commonly referred to as Steelers fatigue because there's already so many guys in from those 4 Super Bowl championships? The best answer I have to all of that is that the Hockey Hall of Fame has the worst selection process in all of sports. It sounds to me, respectfully here, Michael, as if you're envisioning this as a process that's similar to either baseball, where the writers vote for it. And by the way, that's the most discussed, most debated, most controversial, you could call it, process anywhere. I'm part of it. I'm a Hall of Fame voter in baseball for several years now, and yet it's the best one. It's the one that just almost never misses. They'd never miss, for example, in baseball on an Alexander Mogilny, who still isn't in the Hockey Hall because, I don't know, something Canadians versus Russians. It's a small group, about 3 dozen, of real live hockey people. I have no complaints about that component of it. But being real live hockey people doesn't mean you're sitting down and doing the research. It doesn't mean you're sitting down and going through all of the data, comparative data, peer versus peer, era-based data. It means, in all likelihood, you're looking at a list of names and you say, well, I'm an accomplished hockey player. I've been in the NHL for a long time. They asked me to do this, and I'm going to take this guy, that guy, and that guy over there. And not that guy because he's Russian. It's absolute trash the way they do this. So no, you're not going to get the hockey reference comps. You're not going to get anybody worrying or wondering about if you have too many Penguins in the hall already. You're just going to get what I described, and you're going to end up just like we do every single year when they announce the hall class. We're all just scratching our heads going, what? Seriously? Not avoiding your question. That's actually the most accurate answer you can get to it. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who listens to Daily Shot of Penguins. A reminder, just because the team is done doesn't mean the show is done. It never stops. We'll be talking about all kinds of hockey things through the off season. 99.999% of those being Penguins related, but every once in a while something will happen in the playoffs or in some other setting, and maybe I'll be doing this show live from Winnipeg during the Stanley Cup Final. Wouldn't that be fun, huh? No, really, that would be very, very fun. I miss doing the playoffs. Let's meet up again on Monday.